If everything is okay, we are live here. There's the webcam, here's my computer, so I have to check the chat here. Okay. So this live stream will be all about practicing my concert in Cornell, which I'm happy about that I have that. I mean, it's an opportunity to go and to play with those in that wonderful institute and meeting wonderful people. And so that concert is in a few weeks, so it's time to prepare. I'm going to do that together with you, not really from scratch because I'm playing all kinds of pieces that I've played in the past, but still they are really buried under some layers of time. So I need to readdress those things. Okay. Yeah, Rastisla, I've seen your message, so mentioning also the an idea that might work well for the YouTube channel. So we talk on that further and develop the idea of playing the Anna Magdalena Bach Büchlein and the little preludes on the channel. This is actually a project that I have for a long time. Well, it needs to be organized, planned, and then executed. Okay, so the program I'm going to practice today is I will start with a Pachelbel Hexachordum Apollinis, the 5th aria. So that's a part of the recording we just released as a vinyl disc and CDs over there on the organ. Still available, by the way. Then I continue, and by the way, it's a concert, a clavichord concert within that festival that is in honor and of Jacques van Oortmerssen, who was my teacher and teacher of a lot of wonderful musicians, of which many will be there. And this clavichord concert is actually kind of a moment to remember him, and so I paid a little bit attention also in composing the program. So I will play the Pachelbel Hexachordum 5th aria to start with. It's the one in A minor. This. And after that, I will continue with, I thought first to have the D minor prelude and fugue of the w.a.mozart clavier. Also thought about having a partita, Bach partita, because Jacques was known as one of the most illustrious Bach players. He died, by the way, on an age of 65. It's only a few days difference with Bach age. I mean, that's nothing coincidental. I mean, it means nothing, but many people made a remark. It was kind of weird, actually. Jacques was a fabulous Bach player, so the Bach partita would have made sense, but the program should last about 45 minutes, so it was a little bit too long. So I shifted the idea to w.a.mozart clavier. I thought first a D minor, which has a little bit of dramatic feel in it, but I shifted that to the E flat minor, which is probably one of the most contemplative, if that's correct English, pieces that Bach has written, and certainly fits the moment. I'm going to practice the fugue, start with that, because that's an extremely difficult fugue. It's an exercise in releasing notes. After that, I continue with the Abschied, the Silber Management clavichord from C.P.E. Bach. I think also fits the occasion very well. And then I was thinking on having the Mozart Sonata in F major, Munich Sonata number 2, which has this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful adagio section in F minor. But I thought, well, I didn't choose it first for a Beethoven sonata because I don't know the clavichord I'm going to play on. It's an instrument built, if I'm well, from Dietrich Hein. And I've never played an instrument from his hand, so I thought, well, going to Beethoven might be a little bit tricky for an instrument that's unknown. But a last minute decision was to shift the Mozart to the Beethoven Opus 10 number 2 of F major, which is actually a fabulous piece for clavichords. Perhaps we're going to practice that as well. So that's the program. So saying hello to you first, Marius, great to have you. Daniel, hello to you. KMG24, good afternoon to you. A lot of new people actually, and I was really happy to see the Chopin video really blow up. It has over 20,000 views now. It's the most watched video on my channel ever in 1 week. The previous champion video, so to say, was the Schumann Godowski video, which also surprisingly hit 10,000 views in a week, but it wasn't distributed by YouTube. A little bit surprising. Also in summertime, I don't know what happened. But now this Chopin video, also the Wednesday video, it really blew up. Also the subscribers are, it's amazing. So a lot of new people, and it's wonderful. Might be a little bit strange to see me at the clavichord, because I guess many of you have joined the channel because of that Chopin video. Obviously I was playing on the Erard, that serves now as a wonderful desk for me. But yeah, the clavichord on this channel is an important factor, and it's actually the instrument that built the channel in the first place. We shifted a little bit on the course of the last year or two to tempo research, but it was always there with the clavichords. And the clavichord will be always in the center. Will be in the new pianoforte over there in a few weeks. And it will be a magnificent instrument. I know we are waiting on the instrument, on the pianoforte. I think a lot of you, and of course me myself also, but I think it's worth waiting because the instrument will be magnificent, I think. And when we have the clavichord, we have the pianoforte, we have the Erard piano, and so actually covering music from, well, let's say Pachelbel to Beethoven for sure, Schubert, young Chopin with the pianoforte and the Erard might be a little bit too late for Chopin, but still it's an instrument built in 1866. It isn't a Pleyel piano, but it's rather short to the period where Chopin lived. So, Rui Gul, I hope I pronounce your name correct. Hello to you. Rokutake Forte, Osaka from Tokyo. It's 24 hours, 12 hours, midnight. Really want to stay? Okay, it's very late. Well, the live stream will be uploaded by YouTube as a regular video afterwards. Anya says that we have hit 15,000 subscribers. Yes, actually when we were in the kind of, it's not Disneyland, but let's say it's Disneyland from the Netherlands. We were there with the kids, and then I saw that the channel hit 15,000 subscribers, which of course we are very happy with. It's unbelievable actually, 15,000 people. You know, YouTube's numbers, we all know the big hits, but if you upload a video like the Chopin and after a week it has been seen by 20,000 people, that's something weird, because 20,000 people, that's an awful lot of people, all hit individual on that video. It makes, yeah, it's a wonderful feeling at the same time. Theodore, welcome. Arthur is here. Looking forward for your Bach partitas recording by the end of this year. Yeah, we're preparing for that. A lot of decisions need to be made. CD, of course, vinyl disc also will be 4 discs, and we have to, it's challenging. The production costs only, but the Bach partitas, that's actually a project that we are having for 2 years, have been recorded early 2017 already. We shifted the program to the Pachelbel Hexachordum Apollinis first, because that project was more manageable. Yeah, and the clavichord is already waiting, it sounds. Because it's more logistically more manageable than the Bach partitas, but now we have to make the big jump. And then next year, 2019, we are preparing the Beethoven year, 2020, with a lot of projects on Beethoven and the pianoforte. Yeah, Daniel, that will be my US debut, and I cannot make a lot of buzz around it because it has to do with visums and visa and things like that. I am not familiar with that, but actually this kind of live stream is a good opportunity to share with you. It's the link is in the description box, so you can find information if you are in the neighborhood there. Would be wonderful to see some of you. Mega Mac, hello. Batu Barracuda, can we have some Schoenberg on clavichord today? Oh, I guess not. I don't know, even if he has pieces that will work on the clavichord. You could be surprised because the clavichord was really in fashion in the early 20th century. Dennis, I'm delighted that this opportunity has come to play in the US. I hope it will be well. Like, okay, I'm a little bit afraid of the time differences because, yeah, I don't know how to react, how I will respond to that. But anyway, The weirdest thing happened to me with the sleepless night and the concert was when we had Anja had her second baby. Evelyn, she's now 6, becomes almost 7. And I had a row of concerts at the end of her pregnancy. And one of them were organized by a major concert organization here in Flanders, in Belgium. And so rather important. Some of them were very locally, some of them were a little bit on a higher level location, I would say. All with clavichord. It was a wonderful location. But the nicest location was in a church in Brussels that served as a church on the Expo 1958, which we had here in Belgium. You know, if you go to Brussels, you see the Atomium, the building with the 9 balls, so to say, that was built in that exhibition. So that church was a beautiful location. And Evelyn came 2 weeks early. It was kind of weird because we went to Brussels, Anja and I, the evening before the concert to drop the clavichord there so that the instrument could come at ease a little bit for tuning. And so the pastor, he was saying we had parked our car just in front of the door, and he said, well, tomorrow you cannot do that anymore because it's an emergency exit. Imagine a pregnant woman is in the concert and needs to deliver, so then the ambulance should have full access. And we thought, well, yeah, that would be a coincidence if that would happen. So we drove home, and Anja was saying, I'm feeling something that's not normal. And so, long story short, in the evening, actually at 12 o'clock, Evelyn came to this world, and I returned home at 4 a.m. Promised to Sophie, which is our oldest daughter, that I would wake her up, or I would put her in my bed when Evelyn would be born. And so at 7:30 or a regular hour, she woke up, and yeah, we drove to the hospital. And in the evening was the concert, which of course I didn't sleep at all, but the whole board of directors of the Festival of Flanders, so the organization, was there to see one of my concerts. But I played really well, actually. It's a weird thing, and then I continue practicing. But if you haven't had enough sleep, I have the feeling that the part that's responsible for musical production actually is the first part of the brain that recovers while sleeping. So even if you are really tired, playing goes most of the time well. Okay, I'm going to say hello to you, and then we start practicing. Christine, Krief, Westfield. Hello to you, Doris here. Edie Ward, also a new name. Okay, we're going to practice a little bit. At the end of this live stream, I will read your chat if you have some questions or just want to hang out a little bit longer. I think I will play 45 minutes and we see how this continues, how this develops. I'll switch here from this microphone to the Neumann microphone, so you will hear my voice from a much more distance than you hear it now. It might be a little bit softer as well, but those microphones are much better for the clavichord. So I'm doing that now, so switching off this one and switching on that one. Okay, so that will be much more roomy sound. I hope it's still okay. If you don't hear me, we can arrange things, but I guess I'm just looking at the chat if my voice still is okay, and then we continue. Because I'm not going to say a lot during practicing, but you never know. Okay. I guess it's okay. Nobody reacts on that. Okay, I'm gonna say it's okay. So. Hexachordum Apollinis, obviously I've played it a lot, so that needs to be okay. But the Bach at E flat minor and certainly the Beethoven sonata. I'm going to start with the fugue. It's a very difficult one. It's not only in, well, this is the Dover edition, which is a reprint of the first Bach Gesellschaft edition. It's here in D sharp minor, but anyway, it's difficult to read. But so many things happen, and I'm going to play slow and faster and just in tempo or my tempo or even slower, practice the release of the keys, which is extremely difficult in this piece, to get this cantabile feeling, and you will see. So, in short, I will practice as if you weren't here. as I'm practicing normal, which I didn't do a lot on the channel. So open book, open kitchen, so to say. Hope you enjoy it. And from time to time I will comment a little bit. It's difficult for me to keep my voice silent. You can ask Anja. Okay, well, we start somewhere in the middle just to have a feel of the fugue. Very, very slowly. This is constantly in canon, and I hate it when you don't hear the voice entrances and the continuation of the voices. Difficult here because they all go in between middle voices, upper voices. So here you have the enters in the bass. Here. Right hand. Sound like, but that's difficult in one hand. All to do with release. So lifting the weight out of the key. Bringing it to the other one, but then in two voices. And passages like these, you have in the middle voice. But here you have with a little bit of phrasing. And if you don't do that, it becomes such a mess actually. First finger, second finger. To use a tongue here, first finger, but I don't want to have an accent. Better. Now with the left hand, right hand. And now with the right accents on the quarter notes. Even in this tempo, it might be a little bit too slow, I don't know. A sharp tone. Left hand. Canon in three voices. It's really hard because you have the feeling to stay on the keys as long as possible. But that's not always possible if you have to release and jump or go with one finger from one note to the other. The secret, so to say, is in releasing those notes on time. So before you actually would love to release the keys, but then You have the time to do it softly. And when you release softly, and certainly on the clavichord, it works on the harpsichord and the piano the same, but here the effect is bigger. Then you get this cantabile progression, even though you have a progression that's made with just one finger. Having all kinds of substitutions with fingers, sometimes it's necessary, but it's actually, it doesn't work well with the polyphonic lines to have them clear in your mind. And I fall into that here all the time now, is that in order to make these notes as long as possible, instead of releasing very relaxed, you fix the wrist, and then you get the opposite effect, and you can get this very choppy sound. And practicing this slowly is very important, because when you can do it in this tempo, it will be much easier when you speed up a little bit. So, and what I'm doing now is practicing in a speed that I can process in my head all the notes, for which I perhaps have to reduce the tempo a little bit. Afterwards I can speed up a little bit and can release that. But for now I want to have full control of everything, which is not doing me a favor technically with that. Have you seen? Also here. You know, when you have this not very cantabile lines, then the piece it's not boring music, but the performance gets a little bit, you get distracted by an element that shouldn't be there. So it should be kind of legato, nice, cantabile. It's difficult here. To lift a hand in the left hand, but I have to do it gently. What I'm doing now is actually just verbally expressing what I would think otherwise. I'm constantly adjusting myself. Nice. That's the way it should sound. Beautiful entrance here. And then the music becomes a little bit in another atmosphere. It's what Bach does here is really great. So you have this entrance in the bass, which is really high, and he shifts the two upper voices even higher, and then the instrument, you use the upper register of the instrument. and it gives such a nice effect from this here. And what I would like to do is go extremely soft in the right hand, as if you play on an organ on the upper manual. Then this longer theme entrance, this double length, becomes really magical. But you take a risk because you are playing in the upper level of the clavichord. It's so soft, which with your hands spread in a position that feels a little bit difficult. So you can easily make a kind of touch mistake. You know what I mean? These are tempo indications. You have to feel that. Now, theme enters in the right hand. It becomes really tricky here. Left hand, middle voice, upper voice, here at the same time. This was actually quite nice. I like the flow of the notes. They have the right accents. They're not too heavy, they're not too choppy, they're nice cantabile. So let's try this again from a little bit before and see if I can transfer this feeling, this technical feeling that I have now to those earlier passages. Let's see. Let's start here. Now they just come from that I released the weight of my hand a little too late. So the hand is moving but the weight is still on, and then I drop from an upper key. So it's going to the extremes on the clavichord. That's the way I'm playing it now, but such pieces require that. And then suddenly as a listener I hope that you hear the three-dimensional construction of this piece, that you have this voice, that voice, that voice. That's difficult, challenging. Well, I love this piece. What a chord. Also a tempo guide. It's weird actually. Listen to the bass now. It's something I've never heard, how this grows actually from the low C sharp. melody composed. You have this bass going up, and then it starts to just resonate notes, kind of relaxed, but it gives this whole piece this little perpetuum mobile, I would say, movement. Very nice. I've never heard this line going up. It's, yeah, see, it never ends, performing or practicing a piece. Just hitting constantly just next to where I should be. It's close, but it's the closer you are, the more painful it is when you don't hit really in the heart of what you should do. And it's not always easy. It's also for me not easy to, in a case like this where you say, well, there's something wrong, to just adjust it just by trying and playing it again, and sometimes there is something that just falls in place and gives you the opening, and it never ends. Not well here, and I can feel it because there is tension in my arms. And if you ever feel that something is wrong, then you should feel relaxed. So let's just try it again. I think I speed it up a little bit, and I don't think I want that right now. in some way I have the feeling that this tempo is just a little bit too fast, but I'm speeding up automatically, so there might be a kind of disbalance in what I'm doing or what I want to do, and that I have to fix. By the way, I've played this piece last year on live, on concert, and also on YouTube, so you might say, well, we have practiced it before, why rethinking everything? But that's the way I practice. So suddenly a piece with a complexity like this, it's like taking your car to the garage and say, well, take the motor completely apart and then assemble it again. When you do that, of course, you rip apart every balance that you have found, so that you had in the performance before. But the great thing is it will come back in a different way. And that different way is giving you a new perspective. It's a struggle sometimes. Certainly here, this is one of the most complex pieces for this. But yeah, that's a wall that you have to go through. And it will pay off at the end. In 20 years or something like that. No, it's not kidding. At the end you can fix everything, but I need to find this balance from within what I'm doing now. And that's difficult. Let's have this tempo. So that was better actually. And what I typically do then, it's nothing to do with tempo research, but I check my tempo. So I'm at 42 for the quarter note, which probably is here 84 for the eighth note. Which makes sense because it's common time, but the harmony is so complex, it's shifts sometimes even an eighth note, so it's a very slow tempo ordinario. And then I check with my previous tempo. I've played it around 60 in 2009, and then I didn't write my tempo anymore. Czerny has Andante con moto, quarter note 76, so that's interesting. It's a little bit slower even. Let's try this tempo 42, so a very slow tempo ordinario pulse. So 60 is normal. We go under this, makes sense, Andante, what Czerny writes, and see if this works, if you still are in for some Bach, and then we might do some Beethoven. Because then I need to have this piece away and I need to sleep over it. I like the atmosphere actually, it's very serious. see it's empty. It's interesting. I thought I was speeding up to the second already. It's not. So that's okay. It's a long piece and you have to be able to carry the tension from the first note to the last one. And if that works, it's magnificent. And the trick or the secret, whatever you want to call it, is in playing cantabile. Connecting the notes not through a tension from one to another, but just by a beautiful sound that you give to each individual note. Yeah. So, keyboard player and the singer of course here. Okay, so it's 10 to 6, perhaps a little bit of Beethoven. I will do some other live streams, by the way, with this program, because I need to devote a lot of time to that. And it's wonderful to practice with you, if you don't mind. Because it forces me also to be very focused. I was thinking on Beethoven, just to try the presto, perhaps. It has been a really long time, but this is a piece that I've played in the past quite a few times. So it has one very, very tricky thing. So 10 minutes and then I go to the desktop and see if you have something to chat with me about. One tricky place is here. It's a weird fingering, and I've made, you can't see it, but I've made several fingerings, but none of them is really classical in the way that feels right. So it's this. Left hand. So when to use your thumb, your first finger, obviously here. That's for me, for a concert like this, where I need to play really, I wouldn't say without mistakes, but on a high level. That's something I decide upon, and I will never ever, during a concert, or how nervous I am, I will never leave the fingering. The fingering, certainly a passage like this, if things go well, of course, that's no problem. You feel focused, but sometimes you have this little gap of concentration, and if it happens here, it can be a problem, because on the clavichord there are no rescue tools, no pedal that you have on the pedal, that on the piano, that you can use a little bit when you are really in trouble. If you're really in trouble, the pedal is nearby, and that's the classic saying amongst pianists. But here on the clavichord, of course, if something happens here in this passage, there is no sound anymore, nothing. So that's a tricky thing. Let's see how this presto works and what tempo I would choose. It's a 2/4, but clearly a 4/8. So we're thinking here in 8 notes, so the pulse is on the 8th note. Maybe not too much of a lengthy note, just an accent tone. microphone here. There I am again. This is one of the most beautiful pieces I know from Beethoven. It's unbelievable. That is such a humor, and it's kind of well-feeling, joyful. So totally opposite to the character of Beethoven as is often painted as an angry man. I think this is portraying Beethoven really, really, really well. Full of humor. Was also the case, I think, when he had the name. If you really entered his circle, that checking the microphone here. If you really entered this inner circle, that he could be very humoristic, not surprisingly. Okay, so let's see if you have something here in the chat for me. I see John, Stephen also. Okay, Roman, great. Again, it's really nice to see a lot of new names, I think, thanks to the Chopin video, which really was mind-blowing to me, seeing that video have reached so many views in 1 week, over 20,000, and Wednesday video, I think, over 10,000. Next Wednesday video, I have recorded 2 others, where I've recorded 3 in a row. So the 2 slow video it will be followed Wednesday by, what's the title? Something like, I have to find the final title, but something like, did Chopin really play that fast? So I will be reading the description of Chopin's piano playing by Mikuli in his preface. Because I'm convinced that if Chopin might have played that fast as people think he did, there must be some kind of mentioning in descriptions like that. So I keep it in the middle if that's the case. And next week, the week after, we will have a short video, 3 essential reads for Chopin, 3 books I was sharing. So, checking the chat. Froberger, Stephen asks, I think you are the 152nd person asking me to play Froberger. There is really no escape to Froberger, and I don't want to escape his music. It's not in my repertoire, but it's not too hard to practice a piece of Froberger. I mean, I can do it. I think I will do it in the future weeks. I think so, Froberger, and it sounds wonderful on clavichord. Of course, it's also in the Pachelbel atmosphere. So again, just recorded Pachelbel Hexachordum Apollinis, and that's all this pre-Bach world. In fact, Bach was influenced by those people. 1,000 kilometers away, yeah. Okay. Froberger, yeah. Anya asked, what about Froberger? I just answered that question. So Pils says, love the performance. Have been watching your videos for quite a while. Greetings from a tubist. Great. Beautiful toccatas. Okay, so I'm scrolling down because top chat, will switch to live chat. YouTube is always doing that, switching top chats. Or YouTube decides apparently which of your comments or interactions must be shown to me, but I don't like that for YouTube to decide, so I switch now to live chat. Okay. Anyway, I think that I will have some other live streams like these, practicing a little bit more on the Bach in between, and see what the result is for that fugue. That's one of the most tricky pieces on clavichord. It's on harpsichord it's difficult also, but on harpsichord you have the advantage of having support on the keys while releasing the finger, meaning you can put a little bit more weight than necessary while you press the keys down, which on the clavichord is not an option because you reach the bottom level, and if you go beyond that, the pitch will go up and this clavichord will start to sound really awful. That's of course the tricky thing on the clavichord, is the control you have you must have once the key is down, and then the release, even if the sound is not anymore there, so died because the note was too long, still you have to release very carefully and prepare the attack of the next note. And that's something really challenging for me, this piece. And if you not manage to do that, this fugue becomes difficult to keep your audience pay attention all the time. It's 5 or 6 minutes. So I must succeed at that, and I will. And then the Beethoven is, of course, this is a wonderful sonata on clavichord. When we are going to start with the All of Beethoven, by the way, if you would like to do me a favor, just think about one thing that I have to decide upon rather soon, because I'm preparing the recording schedules for the Beethoven. And obviously I don't know every piece of Beethoven keyboard, so we're talking on keyboard now. So there is an option to make a selection for his works, as is done often, or just record everything. So he has made a lot of, well, a couple of dozens of variations, the bagatelles, of course, some rondos, sonatas. I will use the index that Czerny gave. So Czerny mentions only 29 sonatas. The Opus 49, the two little ones, are sonatines, early works. Apparently also Beethoven didn't want to call them sonatines, and I think the Opus 79, the one in G major, was also considered to be a sonatine. So 29 sonatas and then five sonatines, I guess. Also the earlier ones, when he was 11 years old, the Kurfürsten sonatas, if I remember the name well. He must have been quite proud of that, because he wanted to have them published with an opus number. So it's opus. Do they have an opus number? Then it's number 1. And Lorenz Gaiden gave a copy of that, so it's wonderful. So if you happen to find a minute of time and to reflect on that, just drop me a note. You find my email on my website, or just on the YouTube video. I received that without problem. Okay, so I thank you for being here with me. I hope it was a nice experience. Also, let me know in the comment section of this video or future videos if you would like to see me practicing like this more. Again, it's wonderful for me. I hope it's for you, but that's of course something I cannot decide upon. It's you who see these videos. And standing still 3/4 of an hour, or even an hour with one page of a fugue of Bach is not a problem for me. I love doing that, going into detail. We can even there have some changes, like playing more, or just giving you feedback of what I'm thinking technically or musically, what works, what doesn't work for me, how I'm solving that, so that you also can witness that process here. Behind the scenes, so to say. If you like the concept, let me know. I will do that more often. It's not so hard to put up a live stream like this, and it's again nice for me. So John already had his answer ready. So and then to close this live stream, thanking you for watching, also thanking my Patreons as always. There are a lot of, I've seen some names here. John is one, and there was some others too. The Patreon, they support the channel on a level that's really hard to imagine what's possible. We reach a number of 80, and I don't want to force you to become a patron, but if you want to support us and help this, these productions going, even $1 a month means a lot for us. As we're talking, the Patreon community is really providing a solid structure under the videos that we are doing. So I'm really, really grateful for that. So thank you for checking that out, and so we will see each other on Wednesday for the Wednesday video, maybe on Friday another live stream, I don't know. The schedule for September and October needs to be made, and I hope you like that. So thanks for watching, and see you next time again. Bye.